Your base for truth, common sense, and a good time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host. And in studio with me, my main man, representing the state of Louisiana over there, Jamie Angel.
It is Friday.
The whole day. It was such a beautiful day, and now it's all cloudy. That means it'll probably rain, and then it'll probably get sunny again, and then it might rain again. It might get sunny again. But you know what? It's Friday all day, the whole day.
And the first day of summer.
Yeah, welcome to summer 2025.
It is like all of a sudden hot as you know what out there.
Hey, guys, we're broadcasting live from the Beal and Hebert studios right here in Lafayette, Louisiana, your hometown lawyers. Beal and Hebert, great guys and gals. Go give them a call if you got legal questions. All right, man, we got so much to talk about. More news on the 2020 election and maybe some info on the FBI's involvement. We got a new poll showing specifically MAGA supporters and their thoughts on Iran. And then this one, Rwanda terrorist, who's been here illegally for doggone 30 years, was just caught, and we got a whole bunch of things to say about that. If we have time, we'll talk about possible cuts to Medicaid and how that affects Louisiana residents. We got some lawmakers over there in Baton Rouge kind of stressing about what the U.S. Senate is proposing. Oh, man, I hope we have time to talk about these two. Trump getting ahead of bio-warfare, and then there's this young woman that did an interview. Saw this article earlier today. Very, very heartfelt, but very, very to the point objective. Young woman who regrets her gender transition as a teenager. She's now, I think, 26 years old. So her perspective is pretty profound. And she celebrates this recent Supreme Court ruling. Hope we have time. But first, let's go to our boy Fetterman.
I got something for you first.
What?
Somebody, a mutual friend, sent a photo.
Okay.
He took it in Lafayette. You know, you've been talking about panhandling and
yeah, Lafayette is now the panhandling capital of the world.
All right, let's make sure you got my camera up there. I'm going to show you a picture, right? And this is the sign he was holding. It says, "Why lie? I want a hooker."
That one in Lafayette?
That was in Lafayette.
Oh, that looks like the airport fence, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness!
There's another one. Here.
No, if you're on, go to rumble.com so you can wait.
So I just wanted to share that with everyone.
Hey,
I appreciate the honesty.
Absolutely. I appreciate. All right, another benefit of rumble.com. We start showing you all these special features.
Should we play them that special audio we got?
Next segment, right after JJWJ. All right, yeah. Let's go to our boy Fetterman, and again, follow us on rumble.com. Yeah, what you just showed that, boy, that's bold, man. But hey, I appreciate the candor, Mr. Panhandler.
I could see maybe drugs or alcohol. Yeah, I want some liquor, cigarettes.
Like I think people would actually give him money for beer,
right? But a hooker.
Like straight up.
God, you can get that for free. I know this lady. Her name is Martha Jane, and she is giving that stuff out like candy. She wants it.
Eat that pie.
No, come on, man.
I had a piece.
Oh,
it was actually pretty good.
Didn't smell right.
Well, you know,
I ate brown banana cream pie before.
Oh, must have been a different pie. All right, let's talk about Fetterman. So, Senator Fetterman, and let's see here, who is Pete Ricketts? Yeah, so Republican Senator Ricketts and Democrat Senator Fetterman, they're teaming up on a topic that we discussed yesterday, and that's China and buying all this farmland and buying up land around military bases. So the new bill, and I love the bipartisanship. I really do. This is all right. I'll say this.
Say it.
I love the proactive bipartisanship. Notice why I'm saying that. So this is a Republican and a senator working together at the front end. And as opposed to what we've seen in the past is at the back end where Senator, who is it from Pennsylvania, but Manchin? Manchin. Okay, so he was on the back end. He was always viewed as either whatever, bad on the left, good on the right in certain circumstances, but he was viewed, no, he's reaching across the aisle. See, he's being bipartisan. That was true.
They used to do that.
But that was so reactive. This is on the front end and proactive. So you don't, you come in more gentle this way. You come, there's no one fighting. Well, I mean, there's people fighting it, but you don't see the extreme hate right now that you would should this bill come to a 1 or 2 person vote and someone's in the, the corner.
I would love just to
have
a conversation with the folks who are opposed to this and just
let's tell the folks what it is first.
Oh,
all right. So the new bill is called.
I thought you already did. Sorry.
That's all right, bud. The new bill is called the Agricultural Foreign Investment Disclosure Improvements Act. Jamie, say that fast.
Nope.
It's based on a GAO report that says our current system doesn't give us the tools to track or stop foreign adversaries from purchasing U.S. farmland.
A FITA. That's the fast way.
Yeah.
That's the acronym.
I'm with you. But dude, we covered this yesterday. There are no stopgap measures for that facility in South Dakota that we covered that you can see in our archives on rumble.com yesterday's episode. So again, proactive on something that should be bipartisan. There's no conservative or liberal values here on this issue. There's no hard line here. The only hard line is protect Americans and protect American people, businesses, property, land, peace. How about that? Who here wants to live by Chinese land? That's no offense to our lawful Chinese immigrants. You're American, okay? I'm talking about China, the country.
Are they cooking?
It depends. It depends.
Oh my.
You like that? You like Chinese food?
Well, I like the American version. They say it's a little different over there. I'm just saying they say it's not the same. No. We're Americanized. I like it.
Racist.
I'm not racist.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm getting proactive on the woke.
I have an aunt from Thailand.
Oh, hey, that counts. Here are the key facts, okay? This is interesting. Between 2010 and 2021, China's ownership of U.S. farmland exploded from about 13,000 acres to nearly 384,000 acres. That's in 11 years. Wow. That land is often near military bases like Grand Forks Air Force Base. We talked about that one. That's in North Dakota. Or Fort Liberty, North Carolina. 2 Chinese nationals were just charged with smuggling a dangerous crop fungus into the U.S., which when we talked about, I think you talked about on the morning show. I listen, which DOJ officials now say is a potential agro-terrorism weapon. I mean, the enemy is going to adapt just like we're going to adapt. We're constantly at war. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are constantly at a war. There's always some entity coming at us.
How many acres you said?
384,000.
That is greater than half the size of the state of Rhode Island.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Rhode Island's about 677,000 acres.
So you know the population of Rhode Island?
Absolutely not. I'm not trying to invade Rhode
Island. It was a reference to Ted Cruz. And by the way, I had some thought. I feel like I have one of those Pope moments, when I said, Pope, stay in your lane, and then, J.D. Vance goes and visits, and then he dies. I'm not saying.
What are you about to say this time?
No, I think I was too harsh on Ted Cruz. Not on the onesie. We were spot on. But I'm talking
the Lindsay buttons.
Hey, no. But there was a caller that called in and talked about Ted Cruz being on the front lines on conservative policies. Absolutely. And he should be given credit for that. So I give him credit for that. I was too harsh on him on that. And I said he was disingenuous. I could probably find a better word. Now the onesies, Oh, yeah, we were spot on. All right, guys, again, watch that episode from yesterday on rumble.com, The Josh Guillory Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the Bill and Bear Studios right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, your hometown lawyers. Give those guys a call, Bill and Bear. Thanks for the support, fellas and ladies. Hey, guys, catch us also on rumble.com, rumble.com. Look for the Josh Guillory Show. It is free. And you know what, Jamie? Friday, I usually go get my po' boy from Old Time.
Old Time, get you a little shrimp per.
And guess what I did that you did not do?
You mentioned the Josh Guillory Show.
You know it, 10%
off.
So guys, go to Old Time Grocery. Check them out. It's already good food, good prices. Hey, 10% discount if you mention the show, the Josh Guillory Show. Can't go wrong with that. And they're always nice over there. Like that. All right, we were talking about China buying up farmland. And also, guys, we're going to open up the phone lines next segment, segment 3, segment 4. And we were talking about the 2 Chinese nationals who were just charged with smuggling in some crop fungus. We saw that. The DOJ said that it's a potential agro-terrorism weapon that was smuggled in. That's they're going to be creative. But really what we're talking about are 2 senators, Senator Fetterman and Senator Ricketts, so a Democrat and Republican, respectively, working together, getting ahead of this, and trying to stop communist China from buying up American farmland. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, the Trump administration, just going over a few little facts. Trump admin through DHS, they say securing our food supply is a top national security priority. Thank you. And this bill is part of that strategy. And we need to go to recent history as well. You may recall that for the first time in a long time, the U.S. was actually energy food dependent. Yeah. That means, well, under Biden for 2 years.
Yeah, I guess that man would have kept this.
I mean, with this much farmland, how do you not have food independence?
I don't know. How long did he keep the country shut down for?
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
I mean, we
threaten them with dollars.
You can have all the farmland in the world if you ain't got folks working it or folks processing the products.
Just get Elon to get his robots.
Elon.
Hey, man, they're trying. They're working it out.
Elon's having a hard time lately, man. His rocket ships keep blowing up.
Yeah.
He's never going to make it to Mars at this rate.
Elon's not doing good. I told him. I tried.
Having a tough time. Told him to make the rockets gold.
All right, so the bill would force disclosure of foreign ownership over 1% interest in farmland, strengthen the USDA oversight. Don't know what that means. That could mean more bureaucracy, so just be careful, but we'll give them benefit of the doubt right now. And also the bill would improve coordination with national security agencies, maybe knock down some of those silos. I think that's good. I think that's one thing after 9/11, George W. Bush, President Bush did really well, was break down a lot of those silos and create a culture where the military and the intelligence agencies are communicating. That's my understanding. You would know more about that. But this sounds, at least the article that I came across, it sounds like that has that kind of feel to it. So we like that. All right. Here's the bottom line. Okay? China isn't just playing games with spy balloons anymore. That was like play. They've got their claws in our farmland. They've been doing it for years. I told you we discussed the acres. They're flying drones near bases. They're smuggling dangerous bioagents into our food system. Like, what more do we need to have urgency?
Not flying them drones in Louisiana no more. We can shoot them down now, boys.
That's right. That's been a topic of discussion at the studio amongst the stations. Yeah. I've heard other people say it. I thought we were the only ones talking about it.
Shoot them, T-boy.
Get that shotgun. All right. That's not paranoia, though. All what I just said. I just rattled off facts. That's a pattern also. Far cry from paranoia. That is a pattern. I mean, look at this is recent history. This is last few years. This is nothing like ancient history here. And by the way, speaking of here, it's all happening here on our soil. We have been being invaded. We finally, after 4 years, have people in charge that at least understand that. You may disagree with them on how they get things done. Whatever. At least they're trying to get something done. You may disagree with the ideology. You may be a Democrat listening to this show and saying, I just disagree with Trump. Okay. All right, fine. Free country. More power to you on that. Okay. But can we at least agree he's trying to do something different? That should be that's a fact. I mean, he is doing something different. You may not like it, but if we can agree on that fact, he's doing something different. Do you think it's possible for us to agree on the fact that what we were doing was not working, and you could pick whatever category because it's broad, economically, foreign diplomacy?
Speaking of not working, I got
sovereignty, border, what? We can keep going on. Jobs.
Breaking news for you.
Go for it.
Fifth Circuit just struck down Louisiana's 10 Commandments law as unconstitutional.
Wow. And that was a full ruling?
I'm just getting alerts in. KATC's reporting, 15's reporting. It says court blocks Louisiana law requiring schools to post 10 Commandments in classroom.
Man, you guys said more energy. That was like a big ruling.
It is a big ruling, but
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to be
Happy
terribly
about it.
excited.
Yeah.
Well, some might.
Oh, no.
Liberals,
I'm just
people
saying,
hate
like,
God.
I thought you would come with a lot, but yeah. Hey, look, I'm sure that's going to the Supreme Court. I'm sure the Attorney General could foresee some obstacles. I am curious. Fifth Circuit. That's interesting. I'd like to see the reasonings for ruling. I know that I don't know if the opinion's out. I doubt it. If it is, then yeah.
We got a quote from the AG. The judgment is out, but
Okay, all
AG says, quote, we strongly disagree with the Fifth Circuit's affirmance of an injunction preventing 5 Louisiana parishes from implementing HB 71. We will immediately seek relief from the full Fifth Circuit.
Yeah.
And if necessary, the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, that was. I didn't think that was a.
panel.
I didn't think that was a. Well, it's always a panel, but I didn't think it was like a final ruling. And I'm saying that words loosely to all my lawyer friends out there. I know you're cringing. Procedural terms not being said correctly.
I swear he knows what he's saying.
Yeah, he's on my side.
He knows about lawyering, I promise. Esto es un abogado.
A good lawyer say, I don't know more than I do know. And I'm okay with that. So we've got now, but let's go back to this topic, because this is a topic that I remember us talking about in the 90s when Clinton started all this nonsense about selling property to China, or allowing China to have property near our military bases. I mean, of all places. Now the farmland, and over the last 11 years, grown 350,000 acres. It's nuts. Half of Rhode Island, according to my population expert over here. But we've got military bases now surrounded by Chinese-owned property. Remember, individuals do not own property in China. Chinese subjects do not do anything in their individual capacity because they do not have individual capacity in the eyes of their government. They are a communist government. Yes. Oh, that's the look.
I didn't say nothing.
That's the look you were giving me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I misread it. All right, guys, stick around. Jay from Broussard, we're coming right to you. And I want y'all to join Jay from Broussard. 232-1542. We're going to have a blast. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the Beal and Abear Studios right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Jamie, it's all, our fault. We missed last segment, the special that everybody looks forward to all week to get in a good mood for the weekend. It's all, you know what? It's WWJ. Wait, hold on. We're just joking with JJWJ. Yes, what's happening, Janet? Woo! I think I got it right that second time. What's up?
Oh.
Bring it. I asked her to say a joke with a cuss word. She wouldn't do
As
it.
if.
She
would never. That's a lady right there.
She is
a classy one.
And she said no.
I don't want to get suspended for 2 weeks.
I'm not even going there. It is a joke.
It's a serious one.
It is a serious joke, though.
Yeah.
And she's a classy lady.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
the floor is yours.
Okay, let's see. My aunt worked for the DMV for 40 years. 40 years. And in those 40 years, she waited on a dozen of people.
Now, Janet, I'm going to call you out.
That was good.
Janet, you told us that one.
No.
I told you that one, but
Yeah.
y'all didn't say my joke last week.
That's right.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. And
was
he
new.
was listening.
He
You
was.
see, he's listening. You told
Yeah.
him. Well, that was a good one. Thank you, Janet, as always,
welcome.
bringing a joy. See, you bring a joy to us every day we come in. So each week, the folks get to hear a little bit of you.
It's very relevant now with all this real ID stuff they got.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they
Oh,
can-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Tell your aunt to get busy. Thanks, Janet.
Thanks,
All right,
Janet.
thank
Always good. All right, let's see here. Let's go to the phone line.
Before we do that,
Oh, all right. What's up?
I think we're about to go viral again.
What do you mean we?
Lafayette.
Like the city?
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about?
So a few nights ago,
Is this on topic?
there was no, of course not. There was a little incident at the Super One,
All right.
and the local station News 15 covered it.
All
and
right.
I got to play you a little clip, just a little clip
Oh, please do.
of what they covered.
Let's get the gun. So they get the gun. Next thing you know, we hear shooting. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop.
Police say this marks the 24th shooting to date in 25.
So when we were coming out the store, I just came to get my children some diapers. You heard me? We come out of the store and I heard
Witness.
You heard me?
Hold on. I don't recall this incident. Was anybody hurt?
2 people were shot, but they
Or
lived.
did they die?
No.
Okay, so it's fair game. We can make some jokes.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about the folks who were shot. The reactions. Of
I'm
certain-
just saying to our local media here. I got so many thoughts here. First of all, I don't know if I should give you like gold stars for the most descriptive folks that you picked.
Send to you, Scott.
But I'll see what you're saying with going viral.
Mm-hmm.
That was
It's
wow.
like, I ran for my life. Ain't nobody got time for that. You don't remember her, Sweet Tea?
Oh yeah. So and that was local.
Oh,
Yeah, all right. Hey,
local.
okay.
Yeah, his
Hey.
children getting some diapers.
Listen, well, I will say to the young lady and young man, very descriptive on your recollection of the events.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
we got a couple of app chats.
Yeah.
Kill Switch
Go ahead.
says, I think I'm going to retire and take Panhandling 101.
Oh my goodness!
Start
You
with that
can
guy.
listen. Well, start in Lafayette. It is the panhandling capital of the world. It wasn't, but now I mean they should have a festival.
Mm-hmm. And our friend Tony Dasheries
Yeah.
said, I just door dashed a whole shrimp po' boy to a nice old lady a few moments ago. Such good food.
Wow. At Old Time
Old Time
Groceries. Way to go. That's cool.
Very nice of you. Thank you so much for that.
Wish you could DoorDash and say the Josh Guillory Show, and then maybe get your 10%.
Shit, you don't start messing with those people.
All right. Ooh, those people.
Well, DoorDash.
Racist.
Shit.
We're gonna have
I'm
all
not
the
racist.
wokesters. We're gonna have all the wokesters on us. We didn't put our woke repellent. Their little ears are hurting when you say things like that. They don't know you're joking. They don't have a sense of humor. All right, guys. 232-1542. Jay, you have been patient, my man. What's up? That's you, Jay, from Broussard. What you got? Did you press the button?
I did.
Hey, you there?
Yes, sir. What's up, Jay?
So I think the guy that was standing on the corner of University and Highway 90, he was at the wrong corner. He should have been at the other University and Highway 90, a.k.a. Four Corners.
Oh, yeah.
And the best sign I've seen from a homeless person in real life was need help, wife kidnapped by ninjas, need money for karate lessons.
Hey, you gotta give it to him. Gotta give it to him. Gotta give it to him.
Yeah, I ended up giving him $3 in Houston.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta. I mean, look, you got to tip for performance,
Marketing at least.
and something. You know, like the guy's pretty creative, man. Hey, thanks, Jay.
Absolutely, great show, guys.
Appreciate you, brother. Have a good weekend. Let's go to Warren. Warren, bring the heat. It's Friday. What you got?
Well, dumpster diving.
Okay,
I pulled up
all right.
at 7-Eleven one night, and the guy comes up, and I said, "Oh, you're gonna ask me for some money for something to eat?" He goes, "Nah, I'm eating good. I'm eating Popeyes and pizza. All I want." He said, "Man, I really need a beer." So I gave him $1. But talking about those Chinese, you know, they specialize in agricultural warfare, and I think it's their goal to buy property and put something on it that's going to wipe out the other farmers so they can pick up that land cheap, just like Bill Gates buying the patent for stopping hurricanes and shelving it because they want destruction. You know, the Chinese government during the Olympics said they controlled the weather, you know, just like our government controls the weather and uses it for warfare. So we're so stupid to let these people come in and do agriculture in our country. It's crazy. And then talking about the 747s, Israel wiped out most of it. They had a second hit on the top officials, the commanders. So, you know, they using those planes to bring in radar and probably instructors for operating the new missiles. Those 747s have 3 levels. A while ago, a mid.
All right, Warren. Hey, Warren. Why don't we brag my man? Going in 30 seconds. You went a little over, brother. You know, but I love the passage just to, you know, move
I
the
got a
discussion.
question about all that weather stuff. If we can control the weather, why is it so doggone hot? Huh?
I'd like to control the weather.
I mean, make it a little cooler if you got the...
Yeah, turn the AC on. Turn the AC on. Turn the outside AC on. All right, let's see here. We got Kevin from the motherland. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, all this talk about these panhandlers, there's nothing but fairs and festivals down here, loads of parades. So why doesn't Lafayette incorporate a panhandlers parade into the Mardi Gras season, and the route will be where all the panhandlers hang out?
Aren't they the ones who usually
and
push the buggies?
If you own a float, you got to stop and make a donation. That's part of the price of riding in the parade.
Panhandling tax.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
Well, Kevin, I got to give you this. You know, I always admire folks for coming to a problem with a recommended solution, and that is exactly what you brought.
They hire all of them to run the rides during Mardi Gras, so they're gainfully employed.
I feel like that. Hey, I feel that way. Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Kevin. You think that's what they do, huh?
Well, I mean, I think they
hey.
bring in some local talent.
Well, let's just say this. Would we be shocked if there's a healthy dose of percentage, high enough percentage? I
think it's gainful employment, and
I
I think
so
if
too.
they're willing to take you along for the ride, I mean, why not?
Right.
Meet you some beautiful women like Martha Jean.
Yeah, well, there you go. She frequents it. The
From open to close. The Cajun Heartland State Fair.
Yeah.
Dude, she was there from before they opened.
Yeah.
Till way after they closed. She was even helping pick up trash. They were like, woman, go.
Yeah, but then she got caught in the backstage, Chiwis, you know, that one
you should
year.
have heard what she was doing in the handicap border.
Come on.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Stop.
We know.
I don't want to talk about
Oh, gosh. Okay. All right, look, let's take an early little break. This segment, we'll dive into another topic when we get back. I think you're going to like it. Talk about a little MAGA supporters and a poll that came out. Hey, it's a good thing to talk about. Kind of interesting. Stick around. We're not going anywhere. welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the Bill and Bear Studios right here in Acadiana. Your hometown lawyers, you got legal questions, call those guys and gals, man. Bill and Bear. Love them. Love them. All right. So, how's your Friday going?
It's fantastic.
That's good. Is there anything that stands out to you?
Is something supposed to?
No. Just asking.
I mean,
you threw a random clip out there that I thought added value to our discussion with our wonderful audience. Yeah.
I mean,
gave a little something different. Kind of
a little local
showing
flavor.
Yeah, well, a little local definitely some local flavor.
Some
Yeah.
spice.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears here. So, MAGA supporters in Iran. Ryan King over there at the New York Post.
What did you just say?
Huh? Yeah, MAGA supporters in Iran. Yeah. We're about to talk about a poll. About to talk about some data. I'm sorry, a survey. It's not a poll. It's a survey. Ryan King at the New York Post reports that a new JL Partners poll. Full candor, I don't know much about JL Partners, so I don't know the credibility. But New York Post, I don't think would publish on something that at least didn't have some polling experience. So let's see here. JL Partners poll shows overwhelming support from MAGA Republicans, not your traditional Republicans. MAGA Republicans.
I thought you were saying MAGA support from Iranian, like Iranian MAGA. I was like, what are you talking about?
Sure, there's some folks that have migrated lawfully from that place.
Sorry. I just had to clarify.
Yeah, it's not MEGA. It's MAGA.
Make Iran great. Hey, we're working on it.
Actually, we are, yeah. And I think they could. So, this poll by JL Partners shows overwhelming support from MAGA Republicans for U.S. military strikes against Iran's infrastructure and military posts as Israel ramps up its campaign to block Tehran from going nuclear. Okay? All right. So the survey found that 65% of MAGA Republicans, so they self-identify as that, back a U.S. strike on Iran or U.S. strikes on Iran. That number drops down to 51% for traditional Republicans and 58% for GOP voters overall. So, I mean, for the most part, Republicans would support a U.S. strike.
Both would.
I don't know. I'd like to see
CNN earlier where they were talking about like 78% of Democrats and 83% of Republicans all support not allowing Iran to get a nuclear weapon.
Oh, that's different.
It's a little different.
That's an easy question to answer.
But how do you stop them from getting it? You blow them up.
Well, yeah, exactly. and Israel has seemed to perfect that. Ah, man, talk about secret squirrel missions. Good night. Important to note of the poll, the survey, only 25% of Republicans oppose strikes. That's pretty low. Man, like you said, on Iran, I mean, what you can't tippy toe. I mean, I understand that Israel's doing what it's doing and we're supporting them. But I mean, you're either in or out. It's kind of like with Ukraine and Russia. There kind of is a fine line. I mean, you can only do so much before you're in. And if you're in, you need to be in.
I don't know. Iran doesn't look like they want to play, so it's starting to really look like that's the only course we have. I mean, they got up from the table today at talks in the UK.
What do they have to negotiate with?
They will not fold when it comes to nuclear weapons or nuclear development, nuclear enrichment. They will not.
They have to know that they're going to be engaged and destroyed.
They refuse. And
which, by the way, might be a touchy subject. I mean, if we're talking about assassinations, we have a policy that we don't engage in that.
And I don't think we would. I mean, that would be all in these rules.
I think have an example. Iran, you have an example. Near future, 2003, right next to you, your next door neighbor to the west, Iraq. Just look how that unfolded. All Saddam had to do was let the weapons in. Let me give you both sides. So all Saddam had to do was let the UN weapons inspectors in. That's all he had to do. Well, That's true. That's all he had to do. So Iran, all you have to do is come to the table. Now, you're in a much better position to save face, Iran, than Saddam Hussein was. Saddam Hussein had just got over the Persian Gulf War. He just got over the Iraq-Iranian War in the 80s. I think it ended in 88. That's not that far. 15 years is not that too far removed, okay? And, if he went out and said, yes, I don't have any nukes, well, that makes him a little weaker to his fellow dictators, fellow leaders in the region. And remember, that region respects strength and can smell out weakness. And Saddam was playing a game, and he was in a tough position. I get it. Whatever, that and I mean, he was an evil dictator, clearly. But yeah.
I think part of the problem is, Israel.
But Iran should come to the table.
Israel's got nukes. We know this. They obviously they don't say it publicly, but they have them. Pakistan, India. So Iran feels like Israel is evil. They are the detriment of everything. They feel like they need to have this in order to protect themselves, defend themselves from the evil Satan. Granted, if you were solely doing it for electrical purposes, to provide clean energy, there's a way to do it.
Here's one. I don't care. You ain't getting a nuke. I mean, that's next. I'm telling you, Ariana Grande, she has a song on it. Thank you, next.
100% shouldn't get a nuke.
Yeah, I don't care. And I get it. Again, don't care. I get India has you on the east. I get Israel has you on the west. And I need you to get that I don't care. That's what I would say.
I'm just trying to play contrarian because it's fun and it's Friday.
It is fun. It's Friday. Now, you should do that to have objective thought. You're doing great. You're doing great, pal. You're doing great.
Should we deny other countries the right to produce nuclear energy?
It's depends.
Cheaper. It's cleaner. It's safer. Now, who are we? The one cannot.
Get this whole thing. What? One thing or ever. If our people are written, ecologically. Broad and big and deep question that's asked. So we don't have enough time to thoroughly go through it, but I think we can at least have a decision-making process.
I'm saying if there are safeguards in place, an inspector, AIA,
whatever. Actions are to the detriment of the safety of Americans, then we do whatever we can with the appropriate level of attention, focus, and force to make sure that nothing happens to us. There you go. Run out of time. I had much more serious thought than that. All right, guys, stick around. Hour number 2. It's going to be great.
You're listening to The Josh Guillory Show, your base for truth, common sense, and a good time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your humble host, your very grateful host. And in studio with me still, my main man, Jamie Angel.
I'm here.
Bing, 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 bing.
Bing, bing, bing.
All day, every day. Hey, it is Friday, and I hope everyone is having a great Friday. We are broadcasting live from the Beal and Abear Studios right here in Acadiana. Your hometown lawyers, you got legal questions, call those guys, Beal and Abear. So let's switch topics here. We're going to talk more. Well, let's talk Medicaid and the state of Louisiana and a whole bunch of stuff's going on. The big, beautiful bill. Big, beautiful bill.
I wrote a whole article about that this morning.
Did you
KPAL965.com.
Yeah.
We in trouble, ball.
Well, let's talk about it. So definitely some things could change. Remember, the bill hasn't been passed. The bill hadn't been passed yet. Still in legislation. All right. So Mark Ballard over at The Advocate reports that Louisiana lawmakers are sweating the U.S. Senate's proposed Medicaid cuts in President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. Louisiana Senate President Cameron Henry says that if the bill passes as written, so if the U.S. Senate, what the cuts they want to put in there, if it passes as written, the Louisiana Senate President says that the state could lose up to $4 billion in federal Medicaid funding. That's a lot. Now, that would force a special session, of course, and he's already sounding the alarm with Senators Cassidy. He's also Representative Scalise, Speaker Johnson. All right, so here's what's at play. The Senate's version actually goes harder than the House's version on spending cuts, especially Medicaid. I really didn't think I would be saying that. Usually the Senate kind of goes a little more moderate, leans a little more, I'm not going to say left because we don't have a left-leaning Senate. We have but you get it. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Thanks, Bobby Jindal. Thanks, John Bell.
Well, that's the state.
I know, but they're the ones who put us in this position. So dependent.
No, we're going to get to that. Yeah, 40%, by the way. So we're going to get to that. But let's walk this up. So Louisiana uses provider taxes to help fund Medicaid. That's important, especially for rural hospitals. So the Senate wants to lower how much states can tax. That's why the Louisiana state legislature and the governor's probably their antennas up. Okay. Now, but you're right about Jindal and Edwards. If passed, Louisiana's rural hospital support drops from $245 million down to $211 million right away, and then it shrinks further every single year. Now, there are also tougher work requirements, too. There's a lot of good things in the bill. There are tougher work requirements. Parents with kids over 14 must work or volunteer at least 80 hours per month. Hey, makes sense. Able-bodied person, of course. Now, here's what Jamie was getting into, and this is a stat that is alarming to me as a taxpayer, and that about 1.8 million Louisianans, that's 40% of our state, 40% are on Medicaid in some form. Huh? Let that sink in. 40% of our state. So we're saying 40% of our state is not able-bodied or able-minded. We're saying 40%.
Or 40% of the state works for an employer that doesn't provide or they work a part-time job or multiple part-time jobs.
Okay. Let me say it differently. 40% of our state is on government health insurance.
Yeah, I was going to say this was basically Louisiana's substitute for Obamacare, or Louisiana's instead of. So rather than have people go on Obamacare, it's like, hey, we'll just give it all to you for free.
Yeah,
because we have money like that apparently.
Well, when the federal government's giving it to you, of course you do. You're just the facilitator. This is why we don't need a big federal government. Even if that idea was made in good faith, and I don't know who started that, but whoever did, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They want to help people in need. Who can argue against that? Who can argue against that? You're evil if you disagree with that. No, it has nothing to do with that. Good ideas turn into bureaucracy if they come from Washington. They actually turn into bureaucracy at all levels of government. It's just easier to rein in at the local level. I don't care if your city is as blue can be, liberal, whatever. It's much easier for me not to live in your city than it is for me not to live in your state. It's much easier for me to not live in your state than it is for me not to live in the country. But when we have an overreaching government, even if operating in good faith at the time, it never ends that way. And this is the same correlation in Medicaid. So you're right. Governor Edwards absolutely expanded Medicaid in Louisiana and got us more dependent on the government. It is a philosophy. These elites need people on the dole. They need it. That's how it works. That's how they stay elites. That's how they stay where they're at. And remember, elites are bipartisan. They don't care about party. They play the parties.
I don't even know why all these people want to be on Medicaid, because it sucks. I mean, there's only so many places you can go.
Yeah.
That accept it, and the places that do accept it, what they give you is so limited. Like physical therapy, for example. If you get physical therapy, you don't get ice or all the feet. No, you get the basics, and that's it. Yeah. I mean, it serves its purpose, but that's about it.
Some folks are on Medicaid that don't want to be on Medicaid, that would ordinarily be on Medicaid, but for the system being the way that it is and allows other people to manipulate it, employers even, so that they're not. That's all they can get is Medicaid. And then there are truly able-minded body folks that do not need to be on Medicaid, and that is what the Senate is saying. And I get it. And if you're let's just dive in. All right. So state officials, Republicans and Democrats, they're warning. They're sending in the you're going to start seeing it. It's going to come. Warning that this will trigger real budget pain and possibly hurt rural hospitals. That might be true. We need to talk about it. But some would argue, well, that's their job. And they're doing it. It's a fair argument. You had $4 billion in your budget. Now, $4 billion is not going in your budget, but if it was never your money, should you ever have relied on it? Like, let's think about that. You're the trustee. And for all legal nerds, the people that start a trust are called settlers. So the federal government, they're the settler. They start it. They give the money to the trustee, the state, to give it to the beneficiary, the constituent. But if it's not your money, why would you make a plan that is dependent on something that you could lose so easily? And anybody that's voted on the budget, that's what you did. Now, hey, look, I get it. Who's thinking of that when you pass it? I get it.
You should have been.
Exactly. That's you took the word. I was going to do a dramatic pause because I wanted the folks to get that in.
Well,
but you're as excited as I am to say that. Yeah. Why? You ask.
Not even just this though. That's $4 billion just for Medicaid. What about education?
Yes.
What happens when they cut that off?
Exactly. So, and also it's such a big government mentality. That money is never given to you for free. It's never given to you for free. There are always strings attached. There's always bureaucracy. The bigger the government that issues it, the bigger the government. The bigger bureaucracy. So your federal bureaucracy and any of these little ideas, way bigger than the state. Way bigger than your local government. Just in this broadcast alone, look how many local governments are represented. Those local leaders should know, or are more easily accessible to have a discussion peacefully. All right, than your bigger up government guys, state and federal. All right, guys, stick around. We get right back. We got so much more. Jamie, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the Bill and Bear Studios right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Your hometown lawyers, you got legal questions, call those guys and gals, Bill and Bear. Hey, Jamie, it's 4:20.
Oh, time for some high-level analysis.
How about this? We spend over $800 billion. That's what a B. That's what a Bravo B. We spend over $800 billion a year on Medicaid as a country.
$4,000 per citizen, about.
And if you use just Louisiana's ridiculous statistics of 40% of our population being on Medicaid in some form, that means 60% of the people paying in Louisiana aren't even using it. So that means you should have, if it's those dollars, $4,000 per person. Well, okay. But that means that money on the 60% is going into a smaller pool. You would imagine it's even better. It should be even better coverage. But hey, I'm not an insurance expert.
Well, not all 40% of those folks are even using, you think they're going to the doctor all the time? You think they're spending $4,000 a year on healthcare? So where's the money going?
That's a good point.
Maybe if we weren't spending $10 on an aspirin, or if we didn't have such an abusive healthcare system.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Well, in health, you're right. But healthcare in the United States, I mean, obviously the cost is out of the wazoo, but we asked the wrong question. We always ask, who's going to pay for it? Who's paying for it? Is the person using it paying for it? Is the government? Is it a combo? Is it your neighbor? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We don't ask the right question. And a good leader asks the right question. The question should be is, why does it cost so much? Think about it. Why does this molecule in the United States cost this much significantly higher than the same molecules in a different country? And why does it cost so much higher? There's a root for that. It's the same way. It's the same question we should ask. We should have asked a year and a half ago in the state of Louisiana. Why does insurance cost so high? Start with that. That's why my boy, Dr. Kevin, he tries to get to the root of the issue. You know what I'm saying? That's Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Go ahead.
Well, I can tell you, insurance is high for the folks who pay for it because they're paying for 40% of the population's insurance as well. And one thing I can't wrap my head around is that of that 40%, there's probably 20 to 30 that probably do work in some way, shape, or form.
Well,
and if they do work, why aren't they being charged a premium? They should be paying a prorated. Anyone else who works, who gets insurance, pays a premium. Now, I'm not saying it has to be something exorbitant, but make it, comparable to what their income is, and pay back into the system. Have some pride.
Well, and there is value in the good pride. There's value in work. It's more than just a paycheck. It's more than just paying your fair share. There, for whatever reason, it's just what it is. Able-minded, bodied folks, there's value in work. There just is. But look, again, let me give you that statistic nationwide. We spend roughly $800 billion a year on Medicaid. It was never designed to cover nearly half of a state's population, okay? We're talking about how it relates to Louisiana here, okay? $800 billion as a country that we spend. It was never, ever, 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 ever designed to say, you know what's a good idea? Hey, you know it's a good idea? Let's put 40% of the state's population on this stuff, man.
For free.
Yes. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch.
Nope.
So, in conservative theory, where government's job is limited and freedom thrives, a place where I like to live, it's not sustainable. And it never has been. It never has been. And President Trump knows that. I believe the speaker knows that. And so do the voters who put a majority in place. We've got to get this right. So sure, some folks back home, they're a little nervous. We see our legislators kind of looking around, and I get it. I can understand the alertness. But again, you did sign off on a plan that's not with your money. Like, Why would we sit there and be okay with that? I get that we didn't create it. I understand. Well, let's just be honest, okay? Let's just be honest. It just came to me, but let's be honest. It's not a great political look for you, but that is kind of cowardice. And of all people, the U.S. Senate made these cuts. I mean, guys in Baton Rouge, if they can do it, surely you I think we are a Republican state, right?
So it's,
But I think didn't we vote Trump like almost 70%?
Hey, was Cassidy one of the ones making him cut? He's probably like, look,
Cassidy
they're ganging up on me now. I got to start doing some stuff.
I think Cassidy's trying to position himself in a position of power, but I think he was on the right side of this. I could be wrong. I hope he's on the right side.
But he has no choice. He's backs up against the wall.
Yep. Yeah, look, politically. Hey, by the way, go check out Blake Miguez's stuff online, man.
Is that
Cassidy's? I mean, that one. I
was cracking up.
But there is a video. He had sent it to me too, and but go check it out. It's pretty neat. It's a little longer, but it tells you a little bit about Blake if you haven't noticed, or if you haven't noticed him. But if you don't know him, check it out. I mean, he is running against Senator Cassidy, and he's a conservative. Like I said, if I was ever in a legislative body, I believe Blake and I think our votes would be pretty spot on.
One of the most conservative people I've ever met.
Yeah. Talking about me?
Well, both.
I was so vain. Or selfish. I don't know.
A little bit.
Really? Oh, I gotta work on my humility.
Well, you're gonna call yourself vain, and then you're gonna act shocked.
That's what vanity would do to you. I have to go to confession now.
Making me choke.
All right. So some folks back here got it. Gonna get nervous. But the path forward, it can't be to flinch every single doggone time someone says cut. And that's what we're tired of. I understand. I get it. $4 billion of your not your money, federal government money, which is our money, I guess. It is our money.
Who knows?
After it was involuntarily donated.
Look, we play the same little dance every year. We're gonna cut taxes. We're gonna try to cut taxes. We want to cut taxes.
Sounds like the same old.
Nonsense. Then the session ends. Oh no! We have a crisis. Mess us up. They take out federal money. Every year, same thing. Here's just what's it gonna be next?
The same thing.
The same. Guess what? Somehow, miraculously, we're still gonna have money for all this stuff, and we're still gonna move forward. Y'all calm down.
It's true. I'm telling you, what do these elites in Mino do? They do every time. Oh, you're not gonna get your rough paid if you don't vote for this tax. Oh, you're not gonna have your fixed if you don't vote for this tax. Oh, you're not gonna have Medicaid if you don't vote for this tax. But it'll look different.
Sounds like election season to me.
And it ain't even election season.
Oh, they start earlier and earlier.
No,
that's all. This is all posturing.
But this is you know what this is? Because we don't have closed primaries in these state elections.
Because we don't have leaders with backbones.
That's because the same Senate that's franticking right now. Is that a word?
Panicking.
I don't know. Panicking. Franticing's not one.
No.
If you're frantic and you're panicking,
fam,
strategery. Hey. All right, guys, we'll get a thesaurus on the break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the Beal and Abear Studios right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, those phone lines were lit up, and then we went to break, so call us back, 232-1542, and outside the Acadiana area, 844-766-6607, and go check us out on rumble.com. Man, you can see all these other special features that come online, like, what Jamie had earlier, with your picture of your panhandler. Or whoever sent that in.
Yeah. Well, that was in a personal text chat that I'm in.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
Some friends that you know. We got Tony from Kinder wrote it on the app chat. He said, "What's up, Jamie?"
Oh, yeah. And then,
hey, Josh.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Tony.
The Democrat Party sold our land to China while Joe Biden was sleeping at the wheel with the auto pin. Trump needs to issue an executive order reclaiming all U.S. land from China and prohibit any foreign country or company from purchasing American lands, leasing to scrutinize companies is acceptable as long as they're not getting into or foreign mega maga.
Yeah.
And
before you go to that one, so I would say this. Chinese property in our filings, and that issued in North Dakota facility that wasn't even on the list to be protected. So yeah, all right. So the Senate is trying to but if you were China, that land would be confiscated immediately.
Most Ricky Tick.
Yep. So that should give us all a tiny bit of comfort, but that's not what it's about. It's espionage. Remember, these folks over there they don't own anything. It's only the government. China owns everything. So, all right, let's go to the phone line. Oh, you're going out, chat? All right, go ahead.
We got Kill Switch talking about Iran. That's why the Iranian people were revolting. And T-Don in Brobridge, he says, that's exactly why I never vote for new taxes or extensions. Politicians are just like those panhandlers y'all were talking about earlier. At least the damn panhandler was honest about what he was doing. You are not wrong. T-Don,
he gets it. Phone lines. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Miss Judith first. I believe it's Judith. Huh?
I'm not sure.
Caller, you're live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Judy, and I'm calling from Youngsville.
Hey, Judy, what you got?
I heard the superintendent of Lafayette Parish talking on your station, on your show a couple of days ago, and I wanted to comment on it. He said that they were not going to raise the insurance rates. That's because they already did raise them. In January, the rates for retired teachers went up 50%, and for working employees, they went up 10%. So they've already raised the rates. That's why he said they're not going to raise them. They already did it.
What rates though? Is this health insurance?
Insurance rates for the school board insurance.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So you're talking about the superintendent of Lafayette Parish. Okay.
They're self-insured and they're switching, I think, the company that handles it. And he did say that there was not going to be any increase in rates, but I think she's saying
Miss Judy's saying they already had the increase, so that's why there's not going to be an increase. Yeah, hey, look, maybe they were misspeaking, hopefully so, but wow, okay. Thanks, Miss Judy.
Miss Judy, call in. We don't really cover school board on this show, but on the morning show on Wednesdays, certainly call in the 8 o'clock hour. It's when we normally have them on, and we're happy to get into it with you and talk about it a little bit more.
But Miss Judy's bringing real world, hot off the press data, hot from the 70592 out there in Youngsville. Thank you, Miss Judy. That was. Hey, look, I don't get to hear local news a lot.
There's a lot going on with that Lafayette Parish School Board now.
Hey, look, pray for all.
Yeah, sure.
Pray for all. Warren, what you got? Hour number 2. Now you got to get a little more tighter, Warren. I always brag on you.
Well, that's insanity letting China farm over here and letting their students come to our college.
Yep.
They're stealing all our property, intellectual property. It's like putting spike proteins in the vaccination. Okay, Medicare, Medicaid, it's a slush fund for the wicked. Where else are they going to steal the money from, Josh? They got to steal it from somewhere. And, I tell you, HARP, I watched it 25 years ago. thunderstorm is a positive and negative charge in the atmosphere. If you can throw electricity in the water and charge it, why can't you do the atmosphere? But to relate to what y'all, maybe y'all can understand this. You know, we had the drought, we had the beautiful atmosphere, real blue. That's the layer, and it causes earthquakes. And the first time in history we had earthquakes. Turkey, other countries, the United States.
Talking about earlier, he said there was a 5.2 earthquake in a near their production place.
Oh, okay.
But here's the deal: which state is China buying property at? Acres. I want to know which state is selling property to China.
All
probably.
Many of them.
I know we covered one. So North Carolina has been contentious. There's a post there. North Dakota, there was a place there that we covered yesterday. The one in the 90s, I remember, was an island or something like that, or in California. But Jamie's going to look it up real quick. We can see if we can get a better answer than that. That was just off the top of my head. But hey, it's I don't like that. I don't even know why we would let that happen. But again, I sure as heck hope we're surveilling them a hell of a lot more than they're surveilling us. But why in the hell would we let the enemy right in our backyard?
Y'all ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Politicians are approving it then.
You're right, but at least the Senate, I'll tell you this though, Mr. Bobby, at least there's two senators, one Republican, one Democrat, that's trying to get ahead of this. And that's coming from the Senate. I'll take it. The Senate, that's two things the Senate has got my attention on today. And I think in a positive way.
Hey, the states we got are North Dakota, Florida, California, North Carolina, Texas, Hawaii, Utah, and Maine. And that's just
Texas, big state there.
Yeah.
I never see nobody from Texas had a lick of sense anyway.
Oh, this ain't Texas. Thanks, Mr. Bobby.
To all our Texas listeners, he didn't mean that. All right, let's see here. Matt, what you got, Matt?
As far as Mr. Bobby, what he's saying, with all the land China owning around military bases and whatnot, that's more than likely from the state. But yes, the government can't come in and just seize it right away. Under national security issues and in domain, things like that, there has to be some sort of justification. But there's a lot of red tape because most of that property is sold by, the governor or, whoever the constituent was in that state. So they're getting a kickback. Medicaid, on the other hand, now Medicaid, there's a lot of people out there that need it that get denied constantly, while people who don't need it continuously get it. I got a friend who had a stroke. They would not give him. They would not cover him whatsoever.
Wow.
Wrong. That's a bad way to go.
Man.
The politicians are lining their pockets, period, on both sides.
Matt, here's the deal.
And it gets worse every year.
So, Matt, with
that
sentiment, man, a lot of people, look, when you see a program with Medicaid, for example, in Louisiana, 40% of the population is on that. And like Jamie did the quick math real quick, if it's roughly 4,000, according to his math, 4,000 per person, that's a lot of money for this product. Why would you have lawmakers? Let's all think about this. Why would you have lawmakers be okay with you, one, having such a product for that value, but two, banking our future of hospitals on a system funded by things that are not your money that's not your money. So,
there is one word that politicians use constantly,
all right,
in order to get their constituents in line, and that word is free.
All right, there you go.
They hear that, and then all of a sudden they hear.
Yeah, and then look, free oftentimes will equal into votes. All right, let's move on to Big Chris. What's up, Big Chris? Hey, Matt brought the heat, man. He brought some good stuff. What you got, Big Chris?
my question: don't you have to be a U.S. citizen to own property in the United States, or no?
No.
Are you? That's just insane. I mean, that should be a prerequisite. You can't own land unless you're an American citizen. Period.
Or we can at least compromise and say you can't buy it China. Because no one in China can buy it. China owns everything.
Or force them to open an American subsidiary like Honda, Toyota. You know, when they open up those big plants, they're Toyota of USA. Honda of America.
But they still should own the property. We ought to rent it to them. If they want to have a plant over here, rent the land to them. I mean, no foreign entity should own or person should own American property. Period.
Yeah. Well, I definitely agree. China should.
I guess unless no Americans want to own it, we should at least get first right of refusal.
It's no man's land. That's what that is. It's a national forest. All right, guys, stick around. We got one more segment. Man, I love the callers. Thank you guys for thank you for carrying the show. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the Beal and Bear Studios right here in Acadiana. Your hometown lawyers. Give those guys a call. Beal and Bear. All right, let's go to the phone lines. You can join us by calling 232-1542. Outside Acadiana, call us on 844-766-6607 and go to rumble.com. Rumble.com and look up the Josh Guillory Show. You can see us live. We got the numbers right here on the screen. We want to hear from you. You can also chat us, and we want you to follow us on Rumble.com, the Josh Guillory Show. What's up, Renee? What you got, buddy?
Yeah, I think a big chunk of the liberals that do protesting and all that are narcissists because it's a bad disease. It's caused by childhood trauma, but my theory in that and my reason for believing in that is they pick causes that are downright stupid and that's going to bring lots of predicaments that's going to bring lots of challenges and upset people. And then they love upsetting people because it's some type of control, and they love upsetting people because it gives them a narcotic high. They're always in conflict. They're sick like that. There's no win with those type of people, some of the narcissists that takes up liberal common causes.
All right. Well, that's a good that's one analysis of a state of mind.
That's some high-level analysis right there.
That might very sure as heck be.
Jay in Lafayette says, we don't watch them. They sent that balloon over the whole country without anyone noticing. Oh, it was noticed, Jay. It's just we didn't bother to do anything about it until it had traversed the entirety of the country. Get all of your pictures. Y'all got y'all pictures? Okay, now we're going to shoot y'all little bird down.
How dumb was that?
That you talk about.
You let the dang balloon go across the country and you're going to shoot it down?
What do you want a pin to do? Press off at the balloon and...
Yes. Actually, that would more of a better use by that dang pin than what he was using it for.
ChatGPT probably would have done a better job running the country than Biden did.
ChatGPT may have been running the country.
Probably. Well.
Hey, let's go to a different story here. Christine Parks at Fox News reports on a young woman named Prisha Mosley, who regrets her gender transition as a teenager and is now celebrating the Supreme Court's decision to uphold Tennessee's ban on transgender medical treatments for minors. What a turn of events. But
what's her relationship like with her parents, I wonder?
Who knows? But this is an example. I mean, she's I guess transitioned back.
Yeah. Should have never been allowed to happen in the first place. She's a child.
But she was a teenager, and now but what a great perspective for someone to be able to provide who has gone through that. It's kind of like Roe versus Wade. My understanding is the mom, the person that wanted the abortion that was not allowed to do it, I think she regretted it. It's my understanding. I know her son was going around talking about it, and he was very grateful that she couldn't.
I would imagine so.
Him, talk about some conversations.
Right.
All right. So, hey, caller, thanks for calling in. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike. I'm calling from St. Martinville.
All right, Mike. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. Listen, man, I just want to tell you, I find y'all show very informative, but also very entertaining.
Well, thank you.
Sometimes you guys just crack me up sometimes.
We crack ourselves up.
I just wondered if y'all had, did y'all have this much fun when y'all working in government together?
Not enough.
Not enough. Not enough.
I figured that.
Oh.
But I just wanted to tell you, I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, man. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that, brother. And, sometimes if you don't laugh, you're going to cry.
That's right.
And, sometimes you get, and then this next caller, he gets it because he gets life. What's up, Mr. Blue Wave?
All right. One more thing. Elon Musk had painted his rocket blue and gold.
Wouldn't have blown up.
Over the Gulf of Mexico. It wouldn't have blown up.
You mean America? You're the Gulf of America.
Weekend.
Thanks, Mr. Blue Wave.
Hey, drop that here.
You see, but we hung up too soon because I was going to say, well, there's a concession there because Trump would have put it gold too.
Beautiful rocket. Rocket's never going to blow up. Going to go all the way forever. It'll last forever. They'll find it in Jupiter. Still beautiful, still gold.
I saw a I don't know, an acronym or whatever. Taco Trump always chickens out. That was on the BBC.
Stupid.
It is so dumb, but it goes to show you how short-sighted. They're either these folks are short-sighted, they can't see past their nose, or they just don't get it. But this guy negotiates in a way that's peculiar to others, maybe interesting to some, but he goes extreme. And then, yes, he has shown that he is flexible, and I think that is a fantastic attribute of a leader. If the situation changes, you change. Be flexible. Be flexible on the battlefield. We are at war. We're at economic war. Hopefully not military war. Traditional war there, not yet. But drugs, fentanyl coming in our country. We're being invaded. Thank God we have a president that can handle it. I don't know how else better to say that.
And darn the ones who put us in this position to begin with and put our national security at such great risk that we have to worry about things like Iran and all this stuff right now.
Yeah.
Screw you, Joe Biden.
Come on now. Hey, but look, kudos to the Senate, the U.S. Senate. I know we give you a hard time a lot of times, but at least you're focusing on fiscal responsibility. At least you're asking the right questions in this whole Medicaid thing. So I think we should applaud those folks when they do good things like that. So we appreciate it. And those guys in Baton Rouge, man, we got faith in you. We're praying for you.
We'll see.
I don't know about the faith part, but we're praying for you.
Good luck.
All right, guys, everyone, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be careful out there. May God bless you and be kind.